Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Took me 8 months to finish a 12 for 12 game, but I have done it.
You did it. I'm proud of you.
Finished
Hey,
a 12 for 12 game, and it was probably the one that I least expected to finish.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll talk about that later. We got a lot of things to talk about, but I'm happy because leading up to this game, I was like, I really hope he puts in enough hours to kind of get the good stuff out of it, because it is horror and it's not something that's your forte. So I'm really glad you got to dive into it more. But if you haven't checked us out before, we talk video games, gaming news, general nerd stuff. We don't spoil things on here. We try not to spoil things on here. So, unless it's something that's in that frame, Give
me a rating out of 5 on the Spider-Man trailer.
On the Spider-Man trailer, out of 5, I mean, I'd give it like a 4.5 to 5, because there's a few things that like they hinted at. And again, we're not going to spoil it, because if you haven't seen it and you're someone like my buddy Frank who doesn't watch the trailers.
It's a trailer, man.
So Frank's like, if it's Marvel, if it's like something that he knows he wants to see, he's like, I don't want to watch the trailer because it could spoil things. Like, they could show something, and then the entire time your brain's like waiting for that scene, and I get it. So I respect that.
Does Frank listen to the podcast?
He does.
Okay.
So
all right,
I'm gonna respect him in that. I'm just gonna say there were things that they hinted at, or that was like, ooh, there's a little flash of something here in a shadow, and because it wasn't overt, people are making speculations that don't make sense. When we have a big reveal at the end, which we already knew about, because the internet spoiled most of this already. The one that I'm hoping for, and again, this isn't official, and it doesn't spoil it in the trailer, so I can say it, the rumor of Willem Dafoe being like the main baddie, and for them to have been kind of keeping that under wraps, and the idea that Dafoe's going to go into another Spider-Man movie. So like, this isn't just it. Like, they'll have this, and then you'll have more Green Goblin later on as Willem Dafoe Green Goblin. I like the hints that they put in there. I like what they did. I also, but at the same time, I like that they're concealing certain things. Like, we could see that. We could see like Daredevil, Matt Murdock show up. But we didn't see it in the trailer yet. So I loved it though. I watched it like 2 or 3 times.
I mean, theoretically, Matt Murdock, and again, no spoilers at all, because he's not in the trailer. I can tell you that. I guess that is a slight spoiler. He's not in the trailer. But, Matt Murdock from Netflix is technically a part of the MCU, even though they didn't ever really connect them, but they made, lots of references to, the events of New York and all that stuff. I'm not as into that as I would... There's lots of things that's really what it's going to be. Easter egg central. It's going to be kind of like that episode of Loki where there's just lots and lots of stuff laying around. The episode I'm talking about.
Yep.
And so, I think that there's going to be that opportunity, especially, just based on kind of how I expect certain scenes to go down. They didn't really, dive into that too much, and rightfully so. They want to save it but this trailer, this is dope. I really hope that they put this on Disney Access. I know that they're not doing that with Shang-Chi. I'm really disappointed in that, by the way. I would have bought it opening weekend if they had. If they wait longer than a month, then I'm just going to wait for them to drop it for free.
Yeah. It sounds like 45 days is what they're going to
I really want to watch that movie. I really like the Mandarin, the actual villain, not the crap villain that we got in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Super disappointed. I know that there was some controversy that kind of came about around that. I think that it was controversy that was invented to get more people to go see the movie in the movie theater. I don't know if it's going to work. I think it was faux controversy.
Yeah. In regards to
Iron Man
them
3? Being an experiment.
Sorry. So they not Feige. What's his name? I forgot the guy's name. Whitney knows who the guy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think the reference was more saying hey, this is an experiment because it's COVID, because These are newer characters that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And I think he said it on the wrong movie, because he said it on the movie that is almost exclusively Asian cast, which we haven't had. So it's like, you have the wrong connotation in there. Don't use those words because they can have the wrong meaning.
That's where, like, I just know that he didn't mean it. I don't even need the context. No. I know that he didn't mean it that way, especially because they did Black Widow on both. Yeah. And by the way, pay that lady, because Black Widow made a ton of money on All Access, and I actually bought it on All Access thinking that I was supporting ScarJo, and apparently I wasn't, which is unfortunate. Pay that lady, Disney. But this Spider-Man trailer, I thought Far From Home sucked. To be honest with you, I didn't like it at all. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like how they formulated it. And it's probably because it's super hard to follow Endgame. Just it came right after Endgame, and Endgame was so stinking good, and then Far From Home just kind of fell flat for me. A lot of people loved it. IGN rated it as the third best Spider-Man movie. I was like, no. I loved Far From Home. I totally get that, though. Like, I get coming off of Endgame, kind of thinking of it as its own thing and not in the context. It's kind of hard to do. Plus, you were following up Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and I have right behind me, by the way, the Batman Returns in 4K that I just got, because I had to. Nice. Yeah, that's Michael Keaton. So following up him, Michael Keaton as Vulture, in one of the best written Spider-Man. I think Homecoming is one of my favorite movies. I think Far From Home has a lot of parts that they're a little contrived. I really like half of it, and there's another half that I'm like, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's better than Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. They put that one. So IGN put Spider-Man 2 as number 1, Spider-Verse as number 2, and Far From Home as 3. And I'm a big disagree. And then the big old disrespect that they did was putting Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man below Tobey's Spider-Man 3. I was like, come on, guys. Like, he wasn't that bad. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was not good. But Amazing Spider-Man 1, I was like, dude, Garfield was a good Spider-Man. He was not a good Peter Parker. He was way too confident as Peter Parker, but he was a great Spider-Man. Yeah, he was a great Spider-Man. I loved him. I think everyone can agree now. Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man and Parker, like, together combo. Yeah, it's perfect. I think Tobey was probably the best, like, Parker. Tobey was a great Parker. That's how I felt about him. So I'm really loving it. I have purchased my tickets to Shang-Chi as soon. Like, I bought them actually today. So I'm voting with my dollar, because it's not coming to Disney Plus. So I'm going. I wish I could. I get it. Like, I'm going to the theater. We've gone a couple times with precaution. I get not wanting to risk that. So it's more like, if I'm going to get a babysitter, we're not going to generally waste it going to a movie. Like, not that going to a movie is a waste or anything, but like, if me and her get somebody to sit for us, we like to hang out. We don't want to just go, like, sit in a dark room and stuff. We do that enough at home after he goes to bed anyway. And so those are those moments where I'm really enjoying the premiere access type stuff. So like, if things come out that I'm down to throw $30 on, like Black Widow, that was an instant buy. I bought it the night it came out, and we watched it. It was great. That was a great moment. We both, got a glass of wine and, like, turned the lights way down, turned the theater mode on. It was good stuff. Yeah. I appreciate that I'm not getting the full experience, but it's an experience that I think is well worth $30 if it's the right movie. I think $30, especially because you now have access. You can keep watching it. I'm gonna watch Shang-Chi once for $24, right? So almost the same, and I only get to watch it once. As soon as they have tickets for it, I'm gonna buy tickets to Dune, even though it's streaming. Because I'm watching that on HBO, baby. It's on HBO, but it's like one of my things since I was little. So, like, I want to see it in the theater, and then I'm going to come home and I'm going to watch it at home
because I have the HBO Max. One more thing right before we do talking about gaming, because we're talking about like Marvel stuff. I posted this on my Facebook page, but it hit the 100% backing, so that means they're actually making it. The Hasbro HasLabs Galactus figure is being made. That's the scale, so you can see Reed Richards as our stuff is kind of scrolling over it.
Sure.
That's Reed Richards next to, so that's one of these figures next to Galactus.
How tall is the figure?
I think it's 36 inches.
Damn.
It's insane. So it's going to go, I'm already kind of going to create like a bookshelf kind of thing off in the corner. He's going to go on there. There's a retro Fantastic Four that's coming out that I'm gonna get for him. The articulation on this thing though is insane. If you look there to there, like your hip articulation, like the feet, everything, the hands,
nerd,
the hands articulate. That's not like, oh, it's not you gotta switch the hands. No, they actually articulate. Yeah, Galactus is like one of my things as well. So I'm like, I'm gonna get this. It's one of my favorite villains, and I hope that the MCU leads to him at some point in a good version of Galactus.
I feel like if it's not Galactus, it's kind of like, who is it? Like, I feel like who's Silver Surfer's?
Galactus it's his herald.
Galactus.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like he's really hard to do. But it's the thing of, if they can't do Mephisto, so who are they going to do? And I know that there's probably a number of big bads out there, and if we can get some X-Men stuff in there, there's a lot of great X-Men big bads.
I mean, Magneto. There's a lot that they haven't done. Magneto's like a given that they've done already. Galactus, they tried and did miserably, but you have Silver Surfer pairing with Galactus, and Silver Surfer is a great character. I think that a lot of the stuff they're doing with the Celestials and other things like could lead to him. And by the way, the other rumor is that depending on Shang-Chi's like performance in the box office, they may delay Eternals. Which makes it even worse, because it's like you have a movie that has a lot of things going against it. Yeah, I
went from not caring to caring a lot.
Yeah, well, not only did I thought it looked really good, but it also explained the things that people were asking, like, why didn't you interfere with Thanos? Why didn't you stop the Battle of New York? Like, you could have done these things. Like, very quickly answered that. And I really liked that, because that gives you context to go, okay, that's why these powerful beings are there. I was already going to see it because I knew it would have to do with the lore and connect to other things. But yeah, now I want to see it for the plot, not just for the Marvel connections, because the Marvel movies all connect to each other. So,
I was another thing that I went from like being meh on was like kind of the end of this year, beginning of next year when it comes to gaming, and then Geoff Keighley comes in and just is like, hey, here's 2 hours of trailers and they don't suck. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. Even a couple of the games that I was out on, like COD, where I was just like, okay, Laura Bailey, like, cool, 9 minutes of you, that's fine. But it was still a good trailer. It was still like they were talking just enough compared to the Xbox event, which was so boring. I tuned out so hard during that, and it wasn't the people working its fault. It's just that you could tell that Microsoft didn't necessarily have anything other than their sizzle reel, which the sizzle reel that they did during opening night live was awesome. That sizzle reel was great. One thing that I didn't notice or realize, and I don't know if you did, they have a game coming out every single month for the rest of the year.
Yep. They mentioned
their studios
that back in
starting to truck, dude.
Yeah, they mentioned that back. Phil Spencer mentioned that like during E3, saying like, we got a game coming out, one game a month every coming to Game Pass. That's a brand new game that if you have Game Pass, you get for free for part of their subscription. Otherwise, you got to pay for it. And I think that they are continuing to show the value of Game Pass. And not only that, you got these great indies that like you may. To me, I view Game Pass as also a great arcade kind of machine aspect of it, to say, well, this is a game that I may or may not have purchased. but now I can try it out and see if I like it. And they do have the rotation just like Netflix. So if it is something that you like, pay for it. You can have it in your collection if you want to keep it, or if you want to give money to the developer, which we're all about. I actually after watching Xbox, I was unenthused. I mean, I'm excited about Psychonauts and everything, but I think there was almost 20 minutes of Forza. I wasn't enthused by much of what they showed. There were like a few moments here and there, like you said. Laura Bailey,
cool controller.
Yeah, controller looks great. Laura Bailey showed up today. Sorry, not yesterday. Like that got me like at least more excited about today's show. But yesterday's, a couple hours afterwards, I was kind of thinking about it, and I thought, we sit and we watch these presentations, we watch these showcases, and let's boil it down. What are we doing? We're sitting and we're watching trailers. We are sitting and being advertised. We are actively saying, I want you to advertise to me. But the Xbox One felt like they were like, it felt like I was just watching a commercial as opposed to like an event. Today felt like an event that had some really cool reveals in it. Yesterday felt like I was just sitting down watching a commercial as opposed to an event that is revealing things and showing me things I want to be excited about. It's the classic.
Here's my thing about the Xbox event is that I would want to go click on something specific. Like if there's a game from yesterday's event, like I would, if I'm like, man, I really want to know what's going on with Flight Simulator. It looks dope, like cool, like, and they're like, hey, go watch these videos that we're putting out and giving us those deep dives. Those deep dives are just not what I want during a showcase. It's all about context. I don't want a deep dive conversation during a showcase. I want to be shown things. I don't want to be talked to that much. And again, it wasn't their fault. Their conversations were fine, albeit extremely scripted, and that's okay. It's just I just wasn't interested in it. I just wanted to watch the trailer. I just want to know what's cool coming to Flight Simulator, which, by the way, we were talking about this offline right before the show. I'm probably about to download this game. I've been hearing so many good things about Flight Simulator in terms of just they have an easy baby mode where it's like, okay, you don't understand how to fly, that's okay. We'll do most of the work for you. You just kind of point your plane where you want it to go, and a free flight mode, like where you could just I want to fly around Texas today, or I want to go visit Patrick over in Florida. Let's check it out. You
can fly out of my airport. I have an airport right next to me. You can fly. I'm pretty sure you can fly out of like independent or like smaller airports.
I have been told, though, just so you know, because you haven't downloaded it yet either, you need to do the online mode, otherwise it doesn't run very well, and I don't know what it all does. I don't know all the features that it doesn't work, but make sure you toggle the always online version of that game. And going along with that, another one where I was like slightly interested was Bus Simulator. I was like, okay, this seems like why not drive around America or wherever?
Yeah,
I could do this.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I mean, I wouldn't have been in on, like, if they were like, hey, here's a $60 game, I wouldn't be throwing my money at them. But for it to be a part of Game Pass, I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out.
Is it on Game Pass?
I thought it was on Game Pass. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, that makes it even more interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I may be wrong. Maybe I'm just so used to everything being on Game Pass, I may be completely wrong. If it's not on Game Pass, then yeah, I'll probably wait. But I mean, the Farming Simulator, all the games that they've come out with have been great at what they've done. Like Farming Simulator, I played a little bit. I got what they were doing. It was too much. Like for me, like this seems like it'd be a little bit more passive. In like, I don't mind like road trips. So this kind of seems like, I'll stop here. I'll pick up some people. And we'll just drive around. It looks like it'd be pretty chill. Especially if there's like depending on the different venues you can go to or different places. I was excited about Dark Pictures, the Dark Pictures anthology, which I forgot. I didn't write down the name. This is the third the third in the series. I'm playing the first one right now. So House of Ashes. I'm playing Man of Medan right now, which I have a. We'll talk a little bit when you talk about your 12 for 12. I think I have some similar feelings that you may have in regards to Supermassive and these games. I love the branching storylines, though. I love the choices, and there's a lot of different modes in Man of Medan. I don't remember if they're in Until Dawn, but Man of Medan has like different modes where there's one that says it's like a couch co-op mode, where you select different characters. So when a character comes up, a specific person is going to make their choices. So if you have like 4 people sitting around the couch, they could all be in charge of a specific character, which I thought was cool. I didn't do that because as soon as that timer starts, I get antsy. But I'm going to play this. I'm really liking Man of Medan. I liked Until Dawn, so I'm going to keep going with this one.
Well, it's good that you're liking it, and I can talk about Until Dawn whenever. I have both positive and like negative things to say about it, but Supermassive is definitely interesting. The thing that I was applauding them for, even though I'm never going to play these other games with it, I applaud them for like they had this kind of vision to make this anthology, and they're following through it, and they're coming out with one every single year. Like I think in the age of delays, I think that's still something to kind of to tip your cap at, that they are getting through their list of games. And I think that they probably have some type of like cult following. I think that they would abandon this anthology if it wasn't at least making them some sort. I don't know if you did you happen to watch any of the pre-show?
I watched a little bit of the pre-show, not a lot. I love
that dude. The guy who hosts the pre-show is Kyle Bossman. He used to be a part of Easy Allies, but he always just he wrote that whole pre-show.
Oh,
he's
cool.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Just his writing really speaks to me. But what spoke to me during that pre-show in particular was that Soundfall game. Did you see this? The rhythm combat was.
I didn't. I saw like a little bit of this, so I have the trailer queued up for this.
Everything about this trailer spoke to me in the art style. I like that it's bright, it's vibrant. It gives me like a upgraded Necrodancer vibe in terms of like how much newer it is. I don't know this studio at all. Watch it be the same studio that did Necrodancer, but this game looks sick. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I really, I've got a weird. This is like a weird hang up that I have. Like I don't like when game cinematics and the actual gameplay, when the color palette and the art is like too different. And some of this seems a little. I mean, maybe it's specific to some of the scenes that are here. I say that as someone who played, Final Fantasy VII, where you have like the blocky characters and then you got the beautiful pre-rendered stuff. But it's like if the color palettes are too different, this one seems like it's almost more vibrant in the game. It's probably just specific to those levels. But the music and rhythm combat in regards to like Necrodancers, it's inventive, and it looks fun, especially throwing this into the shmup kind of aspect there, the kind of bullet hell aspect. Not really shmup, but bullet hell kind of
shmup
to it. Yeah, which I like the artwork. Don't get me wrong. I love the cinematic artwork. What I was saying was just the juxtaposition between the two. Yeah. But they both look great. I'm probably going to check this one out. I did check out after.
It's next on your list.
I was going to say because you put it on here, and I missed it until you put it on there. Was Dream Cycle, which this is from the guy who so one of the head. They said the creator of Lara Croft. He's one of the head designers. It's close enough. So this is Dream Cycle, and I don't know a lot about it. I'll admit that. I think that's a reference to the H.P. Lovecraft short stories, if I'm not mistaken, because of the. After looking at the dark kind of feel of this, it seems Lovecraftian. But yeah, this seems like definitely up my alley in regards to. I mean, there's combat, but it seems like there's going to be some more to it. what you actually noted in the notes saying like, oh, this would probably be one for Patrick. Outlast Trials, I don't know. I'm going to wait on. I like the Outlast games, but even though I like horror games, it's like they almost stress me out too much. And I say this as someone who plays like the Dark Souls and Demon Souls games. These almost stress me out too much. And if it's that,
there's a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit. If it's like horde mode, kind of like we're just going to keep increasing difficulty, or like, then I guess like anxiety wise, I got a problem with it. Like the Resident Evil 7 has like a mode where they keep throwing enemies at you, and you have very low resources, and you have to survive like these waves. And it was just too much. It was too much for me. Like I like the ebb and flow more. If this is, if I'm wrong, because I mean, I'm just seeing the trailer, I'll have to wait for reviews. If I'm wrong and it is more Outlast, I like the story. I like the journey. And if I'm getting more Outlast with this, then I'll be happy. If it's horde mode kind of stuff, then I may be out. But I mean, I'm still glad they're continuing with it, because it's a series that I don't think made a lot at the onset. I think it's just kind of had that cult following, kind of like we're talking about Man of Medan and other games.
Sure.
But there's some really good stuff on here. I think I want to skip around too much. But
I think before we go too much deeper, just because we should address like the two big dogs that did come out. We got two big old release dates for our next upcoming Sony and Xbox exclusive. Now there's a bunch of Xbox games coming up soon. I think Age of Empires 4 actually looks really good. I want to play it. I'm going to download that for the campaign if it's available on console. But I think that this was the weirdest decision ever, though. How do you have an entire Xbox showcase where you don't show Halo at all? You don't talk about it at all. You don't even say, watch opening night live tomorrow. And then you bust out this thing where we still aren't seeing any campaign footage, by the way, which is very, very scary. But we have committed that Halo Infinite is coming out on December 8th of this year.
I laughed at this. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna switch this up. I laughed at this because, by the way, not only did we get that, but they awarded Halo the best Microsoft game. So the game is in the running for their award that they gave out today. Elden Ring and Halo were both in there, and neither game is out. We know like nothing about Elden Ring.
Yeah, I don't understand these awards anyway. It's like a Gamescom thing. Somebody commented that to Geoff on Twitter, and he's like, I have no power of those. They just go into the show. And I was like, okay, Geoff, at least you're honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough with the honesty. I appreciate that, because they did that, and I was like, hold on. So Microsoft is giving themselves a pat on the back for the game that hasn't come out yet, that comes out later this year. Like you said, we still have nothing more on the campaign. We know multiplayer. Multiplayer is going to be free. I wouldn't. So they said the game is coming out December 8th. Did they say all of it's coming out December 8th?
Well, this is on the heels of what they talked about, like, what is it, a week or 2 weeks ago now, where, or is it just last week? I feel like this happened quickly. Week. Yeah. So I don't even know if we actually really talked about it or not. There's no co-op for the campaign at launch. It's going to be 3 months delayed, and then there's no Forge, which I know Forge is a big deal to some people. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what Forge is, but it was a big deal to some people. I did think that it's absolutely ridiculous, though, that there's no co-op. I'm not going to play co-op because I have no friends, that really like play along, that are available at like the drop of the hat, where it's like, okay, my kid's asleep, I am going to play some Halo right now, let's play for an hour or something like that. That's just not a way that we have it really scheduled. Yeah. But Halo's a co-op game. Like, you co-op Halo. Everybody I know has co-opted at least one Halo game. I co-opted my way through Halo 2 way back in the day. I co-opted my way through Halo 3. I haven't played any of the ones really. I think I played ODST and that was terrible. This is a co-op. Just delay it. Yeah. Just delay it. Why? I get that you have a goal, and we would make fun of you for for delaying it, but at the same time, I would also respect it at the same time. Just drop the multiplayer. Nobody cares. The multiplayer is clearly ready and the campaign isn't. So drop the multiplayer in December. Yeah. Drop it now. Yeah. I bet you the multiplayer is ready right now. Let's go.
Well, they did talk about it actually a couple times. They talked about like the test of the multiplayer, and I'm willing to bet the multiplayer is fine right now. They could drop the multiplayer right now, and honestly, either dropping it now or dropping it around like say October and saying, hey, we've got to delay the single player, but here, just anybody can play the multiplayer right now. It's going to hold people over so they get the feel of the controls. They get to play Halo. Not doing co-op with Halo seems like sacrilegious. I mean, I've played Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 co-op with my wife. We tried ODST and we quit it. Like we both were like, this is trash. ODST played worse than like 1 and 2, and we did the same thing with the first 3 Gears games. I don't
Excellent
understand.
co-op games.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would not do co-op, especially with the power the Xbox Series has. And I know they haven't mentioned anything on this, but with the power the Xbox Series X has and PlayStation 5, I want more couch co-op games coming back. Because for a long time they were like, oh, well, the graphics, you can't do the graphics and couch co-op at the same time. Not true. You can. You have to. You can do it in a certain way. It Takes Two has been great, and I love the graphics and the textures on that. You're playing Sackboy right now. I know that we kind of glazed over that a little bit, but are you playing co-op or are you playing single player?
No, I don't. We don't generally play games together because I get annoyed. And
okay. Well, I figure that'd be like that's a more cooperative one that like it's forgiving, but it's still challenging. But that one's another great one that does well for. I'm saying that because I think that especially with these graphics that they're showing here, which it better be better than this, we should be able to do couch co-op without a problem. And the only reason I'm only saying that because there's so many games that should have couch co-op that aren't released with couch co-op. I feel like there's we've been saying it for a while. I think that this game is going to be kind of like Cyberpunk, in that there are going to be some people who really enjoy it. There are going to be other people who wait, and it's going to lose its momentum. If you wait 3 months for co-op to come out, that you're into February, you're now competing with a brand new slew of brand new games, and people like new.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the game has anything to worry about in terms of losing momentum because the multiplayer is going to be good. The multiplayer is what's going to sustain them regardless. But I think that you have completely killed a launch momentum for the game. I don't think that couch co-op is definitely, or like, I know it can be a big deal for somebody like yourself, but at the same time, I think that online co-op is still the better. I think that you're going to get a better looking game with online co-op. It's just the fact, how is that not in the game? If the problem is couch co-op, I mean, I expect the game to look worse in couch co-op. I expect it to run at like 1080. I don't expect a full 4K running dual worlds like a 4K 60 thing. That's just not an expectation within me. But I'm going to be playing the game because I was going to play the game solo anyway. Yeah. But I just delay it. Just launch the multiplayer, which is very clearly ready because it's the only thing you're showing. You haven't shown the campaign like at all. Yeah. And it's clearly not ready in the multiplayer, which had nothing but great things said about the test that they did, the stress test that they did, this new trailer that they showed. Everything continues to like point to this is going to be probably the best free-to-play game since Fortnite in terms of its online multiplayer. It's going to destroy Splitgate, which I feel bad for it because Splitgate is exactly like Halo, except with Portal in it. I don't know if you've seen this game at all. I've heard nothing but good things about how fun it is. But the second that Halo drops for free, this game is going to die.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It looks great. It reminded me of like the old school Halo co-op or Quake, like multiplayer, not co-op, multiplayer. Like it reminded me of that, and then throwing Portal into it is really cool. But you're right. It's gonna be dead. It's gonna be another Paladins where it can't compete with with the bigger
It's
brother.
hard to beat a big dog, man.
It's just really hard to compete. Doghouse Gaming in the comments talking about playing Flight Simulator. Said he flew over his buddy's house in Florida and sent him a screenshot. And not that I'd expect you to know exactly where I am, but I will send you my the airport if you can select the airport. I'll send you the airport name and see if you can select it and literally fly out of my neighborhood, because I have a I think it's like a third of a mile away. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like I have an airport right next to my house. Yeah. So you could literally fly out of my neighborhood, which is kind of cool. We finally got some more stuff on Lego Star Wars, which I'm glad even Geoff was like, it's been a year since we've heard anything about this. It's been a running thing about them saying, like, is it gonna, like, when is it gonna come out?
Did you see the end of the trailer too?
No, I didn't.
Okay, if you listen to the voice on the end of the trailer, they even do a tongue-in-cheek reference about patience, because it's Luke in Dagobah being like, "I'm ready to go."
I did say,
yeah, and then he.
This
game's gonna be dope.
I can't wait. I love the Lego Star Wars games. That's another one the wife and I played through. We didn't play the Lego, The Force Awakens. We played like a little bit of it, but we played through all of the others, and being able to play this from the beginning. And Lego already is fun, and I usually don't say Lego games look pretty, but this one looks really good. Like, usually Lego, it's like bare minimum. I don't need great graphics because it's a Lego game, but this one actually looks really good in regards to graphics. I'm really
want to fly around the Lego X-Wing. That's what the second that I saw that thing land, I was like, I'm down. And unfortunately, I still don't think they stuck a date on it. They just said spring. 2022. But regardless, that there's very little that is not going to be a day one buy. This is something that I can actually probably like play while my kid's awake. That's one of the reasons that I started Sackboy over the weekend. We were quarantining because he had a surgery on Monday, and so we couldn't go anywhere. And I was like, that's part of why I was playing Until Dawn on my phone, as well as like putting my stress into something. But I got to a point where I was like, okay, I need a stress break. Let's play Sackboy, and Sackboy is rated E for everybody. So I started playing that. So that's going to be that day one buy. But I do need to call out that once again, I was right about Horizon Forbidden West ain't coming this year. And honestly, I'm not even disappointed anymore, because this next year's like crazy, dude, and it's gonna be kicking off with the likes of Horizon. I want to paint you a little picture here. So Horizon comes out in February though, but look at our possible GOTY nominations for 2022, because we have Horizon Forbidden West. Halo will be in that conversation because of its release date. We got Elden Ring. We got Breath of the Wild 2, which to me, honestly, since we're getting Horizon on, what was it? Horizon comes out what day?
Horizon comes out on the
2/18/22, so that means Zelda comes out 2/21/22, just so you know, we got that confirmed. That's a joke. But we got Breath of the Wild 2. We got possibly Final Fantasy 16. We got possibly what was it? Possibly remake. God of War.
God of War is supposed to come out
in the end of 2022. Next year is stupid. It's 2017 all over again, dude, where again Horizon and Zelda in the same year. That year we had Mario Odyssey. There was something else big that came out in 2017 that I'm not placing right now.
We also have Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, which is coming out, which is very different. But
what was it, Persona that came out in 2017?
Yeah, I think it was Persona
5.
That's a stacked year next year.
That's the only reason I'm disappointed. I was like, can we just get this game out of the way in like November, because I don't know where I'm going to find the time, man.
Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring comes out in February as well, right? Or no, Elden Ring is January.
It's close.
Yeah.
Elden Ring January 21. They are almost a month apart, so that's good.
I'm not going to beat
for you.
Elden Ring. Yeah.
That's good for you in terms of about a month apart between those games.
I'm not going to beat Elden Ring in that much time, but yeah, I'll probably still buy Forbidden West because I want it, because I'm voting with my wallet on certain games like that. So I'll definitely be buying that. I'm going to be playing Elden Ring. Whether or not I play Forbidden West is another thing, but
along with that came a 60 FPS patch for Zero Dawn, by the way. So if you somehow haven't played Zero Dawn after I praised it last year during the pandemic days of finally going back to that, Zero Dawn is excellent. I'm actually thinking about going back and playing the Frozen Wilds DLC with the PS5 patch. So that should be nice, but it sucks that it got delayed, but I think they're making the right call. This guy from Guerrilla, I forget his name now, completely honest. He was like, hey, we did hit a major milestone whenever we released that trailer, but we're not there, and we're going to be there in February. Whatever, dude, that's fine. Like, you're not trying to push something. Like, I don't want to criticize Xbox versus Sony here, but you're not trying to push that campaign in when it's clearly not ready versus this. Like I think they're going to do it the right way. It just sucks that 2022 is just continues to be more stacked. It's this COVID overflow of awesomeness that is going to be hard, because now look, you've got Lego Star Wars, and I know it's not going to be at the same level of GOTY thing, but that's spring 2022, so let's say that's March or April, right?
You got
TMNT Shredder's Revenge getting April O'Neil. Dude, I'm an April main. I'll just say it right now. The second that I was like, are we going to get that Fem Turtle from the TV show that one time? But no, this is way more classic.
Much better.
And they made it awesome.
Yeah, I think the Fem Turtle, I can't remember what her name was from the live action TV show.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
That trash. Yeah.
It was a trash. Hey, don't diss the Fem Turtle. She was fine.
No, I meant the show. I mean, in comparison to the movies, like
I love the mic on the boom stand.
Yeah,
like the boom mic stand.
No, April's great. I love. I mean, I'm an old school Turtles fan, so I love this. I love that they, like you said, they included April as opposed to including, because if you include the Fem Turtle, you're basically like, it's too close to any of the other turtles. Like, I'm pretty sure she was basically like a Raphael kind of, like, it'd be a Raphael skin swap or something like that, or not Raphael, a Leonardo. I don't think it'd be worth it. And then you've also got Jet the Far Shore, which we had like a little like very, very brief preview of, like, during, I think it was E3.
Venus.
Yeah.
Her name was Venus.
Venus? Yeah, okay. Yeah. That should be easy to remember. So we saw a very, very, very brief preview of this. I want to say it was around E3. And during that time, I was like, I don't know enough to be excited about it. You mentioned like No Man's Sky. I get some No Man's Sky vibes, and also what is it, Outer Worlds? Kind of a little bit of that in regards to like the mystery and exploration, not necessarily the zaniness that they did there, but I'm still curious. Like, from what we've seen here, it's intriguing to me, but I don't know, like, what plot am I going to get plot out of it, or is it more about the different things you can discover? It's pretty though. It's pretty. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm very interested to see what it reviews as whenever it comes out, because it is, but it's space. We're suckers for space games around here. I'm a big sucker for a solid space game, and so if there's something to it, then I'll be interested. But it was that last scene right there that gave off the No Man's Sky thing of like sitting on the planet and like planting the thing and it creating that hub. But dude, I got floored though during this. I thought that I was like super excited about Horizon, or like I thought that I was excited about Halo, but Doge V, dude, this game
music, man.
spoke to me.
I
This game was immediately like, holy crap, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Everything about this trailer was so jolly. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I actually am like, I have a very big soft spot for K-pop, so the music there was flooring me. It is the first time that you see a monster collecting game where you're like, this could compete for Pokemon in terms of love. They have the characters. They did what nobody else really has been able to do with the Monster Collector, where they have the cute characters. Dude, there was like a panda and boxing gloves. I'm like, yes, that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. And then whatever they're doing in this gameplay, I don't like, there's some Ghostbuster stuff going on. Like, I'll say, though, the only reason that I ended up getting a little bummed, though, at the end is because it is an open world MMO. And so I have to know, can I experience this game by myself? Is it the type of MMO where, like, we're all just kind of hanging around? Because, like, the way that these boss battle looking things look, they look like open world raids where you would, like, drop in, everybody fights.
Yeah, it's a world event kind of thing,
You go back off to your thing, and if that's how the game is, I can deal with that because I can just play by myself. But this game immediately spoke to me. I was enthralled. This is my favorite trailer of the whole show. I have to play this game. I don't know if it's going to hook me with the MMO stuff, but if they can live up to what they're showing off in this trailer, the only other, like, it's not disappointing, but you can tell that this game's probably a year away or whatever, is just extremely framey. And so lots of times where they were dropping frames, but it seems like they have some crazy cool foundation going. This game looks super hecking dope.
You think the Pokemon company's looking at this going, oh man, like, because I mean, they may not have the tied-in property of Pokemon, but this idea of, let's have this open world, consistent world, like, it's more than likely, instanced. That's how MMOs work nowadays, so that way you're not overcrowded. You have an instanced world, hopefully drop in, drop out, like world event stuff, but being able to just go off and explore. And like this is what we want in Pokemon. This is what we've been waiting for Pokemon since Pokemon became a thing. Jet skis, yeah, okay, like, all of these things, give me this with Pokemon.
Just like air jumping around, flying around with your creature. Like, look at these creatures, dude. That's what no other monster collector can do. They just don't ever have these cute, like, lovable looking creatures. These creatures are awesome. These are so cool. There it is, dude. A boxing panda. Look how awesome that guy is.
It's adorable. It's adorable. I can't argue with it. That probably is one of the best things, if not the best thing there. I would say, like, we could, go through, like, each and every one of these. There's one more I was going to mention, but I can't remember what it was. Synced Off Planet. Strangely enough, had a trailer yesterday, which is I'm showing here. This is the trailer yesterday, which I think is better than the one that they showed. They showed, like, a cinematic trailer today that was more mysterious and dark, and, like, this is really cool graphics wise. This is during an NVIDIA, like, this is something that NVIDIA is, like, sent out, so now you can actually see some gameplay of the game as opposed to what we saw, because the trailer today looked like it was just a horror game, and you can see it's a third person shooter. It looks like you've got some summons or a buddy that you can, like, call to fight with you or something. That looks cool. Again, another thing where the trailer didn't show me what I was actually going to get of the game. This shows me more. I'm not necessarily sold on it yet, but again, this trailer is much better than the one that they showed today. It's the only other thing I wanted to bring up. Like I said, we could keep talking about all of these, but yeah.
I think the only other one that we're, just since we spent a whole first part of this podcast on Marvel was the Midnight Suns, the XCOM style. So we're talking tactical RPG with Marvel characters. Super interested in how that looks. They had a really cool aesthetic going on with, like, Cap and Wolverine looks super dope, and
Yeah.
so it makes me think of what's that Marvel game? The third one's exclusive
Ultimate
on
Alliance.
Switch. Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
So a tactical RPG version of Ultimate Alliance is something that is really interesting to me. Apparently this game, its existence had leaked a while back. I somehow missed it.
I missed it.
At some point. They didn't really show gameplay on this. I want to see how it plays. Obviously, that's going to be the big thing. So if it's Ultimate Alliance but with tactical RPG, pumped. Let's go. And so we'll look forward more to that as we see more. And I think, did they say that comes out next year too? 3/22. So that's March, dude.
Yeah. Ugh. And they did show during this. They showed there's a mobile game which I honestly forgot existed, Marvel Future Revolution. It's a mobile game which has controller support that I was like, maybe I'll check that out. But then I watched some videos of people explaining, like, in a positive way what they liked about the game, but then I realized the amount of grinding that's in it. I'm not about that. Like the SOCOM aspect, Ultimate Alliance kind of thing, I'm fine with that isometric view. I'm fine with that if I get a good Marvel story, especially integrating characters like this that we haven't seen in the MCU, ones we haven't seen team up. We've got, it's Blade, right? Yeah, so Captain America, Wolverine, like some really great characters like teaming together. I'm probably going to be in on it no matter what, but at the same time, I do want to wait. I want to wait to see some gameplay. It just seems like it's up my alley. Age of Empires as well. I loved Age of Empires 1 and 2. 3 was pretty good too, but like
I think that's one thing that I just keep like not looking up. Let's look it up. Is Age of Empires 4 coming to console?
Pretty sure it is.
It says Microsoft Windows and Xbox Cloud Gaming.
Yeah,
Series
I'm pretty sure it is. And I'm also
will arrive on Xbox on October 20th. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna play that campaign. I suck at strategy games. I don't know about you. I'm absolutely awful on them. But Age of Empires had a really cool campaign growing up. 2 was great. 3 was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'll be down because Game Pass, baby.
Game Pass. I love the campaigns. I used to think I was okay at multiplayer until I like started playing like online, like Warcraft 2 and StarCraft. StarCraft is where I learned that I'm not very good. I played through the campaign and I wasn't struggling in StarCraft, and then I played online and everyone destroyed me. Like I played against my friends on a LAN connection, and I was still okay, but not against people online.
The thing that was always cool online, I don't know if you ever did any of this with either StarCraft or Warcraft 3, the mods. Did you ever play any of those cool like mod levels, like the PvE type stuff that you could do, or like the crazy like story stuff that people like built within those games? That's what I always normally gravitated to, because literally StarCraft, I would be Protoss, and literally the only thing that I wanted to do was build a bunch of carriers, and I just liked the on-screen thing of the carrier swarms, just swarming in and destroying your stuff. And that's literally all I did. I was not good, and then Zerg rushes, obviously.
I would make levels. I mean, of course I was a kid, so like I would make levels in StarCraft. I love Protoss and everything, but like the Terran like reminded me so much of Aliens. Obviously that's a huge reference to like Aliens and like Starship Troopers and that kind of thing. So I would make kind of Aliens type scenarios in a map. Not that they were like artful in the way that people had like the different like stories and stuff. They did much better than I did, but I was always a fan of Terrans, and that reason, just because it was that nostalgia for Starship Troopers and for Aliens. We got a little bit before we wrap up. Do we want to talk about our 12 for 12, or do we want to?
Yeah, I could talk about some Until Dawn. So I messaged over the weekend to Patrick and Robert that I was playing this game, busted out my Backbone controller, because if I'm going to play a horror game, I'm going to play it on a tiny screen. I'm going to play it with subtitles and the volume low, so that it doesn't end during the day. I tried to play it at night. I played it at night for like 20 minutes and somebody got like sucked out of the window, and so I was no longer interested in playing it at night. But I did beat Until Dawn, first 12 for 12 game that I have beat all year. Why I felt something with this game, I think, as I mentioned, my kid had a surgery on Monday, and I was super stressed about that. It wasn't a big deal. Anybody who's concerned, it's not. He's fine. He's great. The procedure was like 30 minutes, but still, your kid goes under a knife and you get concerned. I put my stress into this game. It was like the game was stressing me out so that I didn't think about real world stress. It's a weird, like, sometimes we talk about games and being zen in games and kind of turning your mind off. This, though, gave me a very direct focus to stress about instead of stressing about that. And so I connected with it in that way. Really impressed by what they were able to do. I think this game came out, 2015, 2016?
Yeah, you can
the art style on this game is great. What they did with like the walking physics and everything, the way that the right stick either control, if you're not holding an item, it would control their head. And so you could look all around, and then if they had like a lamp or something, the fact that you could move it exactly where and view their scenery, I thought that was very impressive. 2015. So for a 6-year-old game and made by an indie studio in Supermassive, I think that was really impressive. I think that they did a great job making it. Their script was a little there was some times where I was like, I mean, I guess guys talk like that, but we don't talk like that like for that long. It's more like we make one sentence comment about how we're going to tap that, and then we kind of move it, like the high school, college age aspect of that. I had 3 people live. I thought that I was doing pretty good. Like everybody was alive. Okay, everybody was alive right up until the last like chapter, and then all of a sudden, made a bed, like something was knocking on the door, and I was like, oh, okay, that's somebody trying to get out. Nope, dead. and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go make a run for it, and everybody's gonna make a run for it at the same time. Nope, they didn't run. They're dead. I'm not dead.
And see, that's why I'm glad
Hayden Panettiere survived, and that's what matters the most.
There you go. No, but between her and Rami Malek, like in there, it's like there's some good actors in the game, and that was right after Heroes, or I should say like a year or so after Heroes. So like she hadn't like faded off, like she was
before that she did that show Nashville too, right? Later?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she did that. I definitely had to keep her alive and everything. I pretty sure I got everyone, or maybe I had one person die. I can't remember offhand. But I'm glad. That's why I'm glad you got to play through it, because you got to see how some of your choices have consequences. Which, like, that's kind of. That's true in any game, but this game is one you can keep playing. Like, you can keep playing, and you can have a total wipe, and you still beat the game. You still completed the story. Your story happened to have everyone die. You had 3 people live.
3 people. Yeah, that's 6.
No. But like, I mean, like, someone could complete the game, and they could be like, "Oh, wow, everyone died in the game." It's like, no, that's your story. That's your ending. There's multiple different endings. I appreciate that aspect of it. The only thing that, and honestly, this is something that even the big studios have trouble with sometimes, is there is some, in regards to the eyes and some of the mouth like movements, it's a little uncanny valley. Same thing with Man of Medan, because I played Man of Medan for my 12 for 12. We both played Supermassive games. A lot of that's taken into Man of Medan in regards to what worked well there. They brought over some of the script is again weak. Every now and then you have a small like side character. There's one side character in Man of Medan in like the first 5 minutes who delivers his like 2 lines, and it sounds like a college project. Like, the guy sounds like they just found some, it's like, oh yeah, my uncle sounds like a drill sergeant. I'm gonna have him do the voice here, and it's just terrible delivery. The rest of it's great. Who is it? I think Sean Astin is in Man of Medan,
really?
if I'm not mistaken. I may get that wrong.
So tell me, in Man of Medan, because I don't, I don't know how
Sean
far.
Ashmore, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Sean Astin.
Not Sean Astin. Sorry, I don't want to say Sean. Yeah.
There was like 3 different twists.
Yeah.
In Until Dawn.
Yeah.
And the first twist I called, I was like, all right, yep, that was completely obvious. Not completely obvious, but it followed like the perfect horror movie trope.
Yep.
Second one, I was like, okay, cool. But the third thing that really, like, that's where it became more of a supernatural game. That was probably like my biggest problem with Until Dawn, is just that I kind of, I like the Scream. Scream's my favorite, like, slasher film. Yeah. It's like, I can't watch very many slasher films, but the reason why I like Scream is because it's grounded, and that you're like, this makes sense at the end. Yeah. And there's a point where it just kind of stopped making sense. Does Man of Medan make sense, or do they just lean into the supernatural from the beginning? Unfortunately,
there's supernatural from the beginning of Man of Medan, which
well, I mean, if it's like there the entire time, that's
like right off the bat, no spoilers. It's like there's ghosts on a ship on a ship during World War II, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing, and then immediately you're brought into present day. So there's purposeful tonal shift there, but the supernatural stuff is kind of the basis of Man of Medan. It's still, to me, it's kind of corny. I don't think, like you mentioned, like Scream, it's grounded where I guess maybe it's just me, like, if it's grounded and more real, like, to me that's scarier. Like, I don't get scared by like demons and ghosts and stuff like that. So when they have like, oh, it's a ghost that's doing whatever, to me it's just like, okay, it's just magic that you could write whatever you want with that ghost. The rules of ghosts are whatever the writer wants and everything. Where with Scream, it's like, I have to, like, with you just, you playing Until Dawn, you're trying to work out, like, who's actually doing this. Someone's responsible for these things, and you can do that with Scream. You can do that with this, or you can't do it with Man of Medan as much because of that. But there are some interesting, like, again, choices or scenarios that show up, which is what I liked about it, honestly. I played it with the wife, and I'm considering doing, because it's not too stressful, in my opinion. Maybe it's just me. Like, they're not too stressful in regards to the combat. I'm considering going through them to do a platinum, because you can kind of just go through a guide, and then I can see the different endings. So play once legit, and then play for the super good ending, play for the super bad ending, or whatever I need for like a trophy. I'm considering doing that just so I can see those different endings, because the branching storyline, the butterfly effect aspect of these games is what I appreciate the most. They're like, I was playing it, I played it by myself, and then I played some with the wife. So we played like 3-4 hours each, right? Playing it with the wife, she made slightly different choices. And then there were like different audio things that not only her choices, but just the things people would say would be a little different. And I had a little bit of a tonal shift. And I was like, that's cool. I expected when you make a change, it's like, oh, there's a big branch. And instead it was like, there's one line delivery that was slightly different. And I thought that was cool. Like, I got a different experience watching her play it versus when I played it by myself. That's what I appreciate with them. It adds that replayability, because I could see playing this again and getting a completely different feel for what's happening. So I'll probably look at the what is it, Time to Beat, and those that kind of go through like how long it takes to actually platinum versus beat it. You beat it in what was it, 10 hours, 12?
They said that it was 10, I think, and I think I was probably around like 8 or 9. I'd have to go back and see it. But what the other thing that it did, like, remind me of, though, because my wife wasn't interested in Until Dawn at all. She's like completely, even more so than me, against, like, just doesn't need horror in her life. That's just not what she's about. She doesn't mind like a good, like, sometimes like a good like thriller maybe, but like in terms of just straight up like, this is a slasher thing, that's not for her. So what it did remind us, though, is that we never finished Life is Strange 2, and so hopefully that's something that she gets interested in, especially after she beat the Forgotten City. Maybe we get back into another, like, doing some more couple story games. So that'll be cool. What I did want to know, what's on your list for next month?
Yeah, so 12 for 12 for next month is What Remains of Edith Finch, which I don't know how I've gone this far without playing it, and I don't.
Me either.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be able that you can finish that in a setting if you guys got the time. It's like 3 hours. 4 hours.
And I know pretty much nothing about it too, so I think that'll be cool. Being a walking simulator / narrative kind of aspect, I think that's cool. I don't know how I haven't touched it in this long. October I had Last of Us Part 2, but I've already actually accidentally jumped the gun on that, so I may play more of it or I may switch it. But next month is What Remains of Edith Finch. What about you?
So it's either going to be one of two games. So I have BioShock for October. However, I'm in a video game book club in a Discord that I'm in, and we're actually currently in the middle of the vote for what's September. And BioShock is currently tied for the lead. Tied with A Short Hike, by the way. Have you seen this game, A Short Hike?
No.
Cute game that if it wins, I will buy it instantly because it's only like $6. But super cute game of you're like a bird flying around like a forest.
Okay.
But the contrast between these two leading vote options of BioShock and A Short Hike. But if BioShock wins, I'm going to pivot that to September.
Okay.
And if it loses, I'll be playing and most likely not finishing, but I swore I would play it, Hollow Knight Void Heart Edition that I got on 2 years ago now, whenever it was like $6 during a Christmas PSN sale. So that continues to be the great thing about the 12 for 12. Doesn't matter whether you beat it, folks. It's okay. If you want to finish all your stuff, completely understand. But hey, you already paid for it, so why not at least try it? If you don't like it, whatever. The money's gone. It was gone a long time ago. Yeah. But play it anyway, right?
Yeah, it's like we're old school, so to me, I'm like, it's like if you're renting a game or a movie at Blockbuster, right? We're getting these games sometimes for free. If you're talking about Game Pass games or you're talking about PSN games.
Been purposely try to do games that I actually put money into.
Same here, but when that backlog fills up, it's like you have those, they're ready. You are, it's to me, like I said, I view it like a rental. If you put a couple hours into it and you're like, you can stop, that's fine. Now, and now you can have an educated opinion on the game as opposed to just an opinion, which is always good. So let us know what's in your backlog right now. What is embarrassing to you as mine, What Remained of Edith Finch, and the fact that I went until I think a month and a half ago without playing Last of Us Part 2. What's in your backlog that you haven't played? Launch that game up. Let us know what you think about it, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.